Hey everyone, welcome into the High Noon Rant. I am Pugs Moran. We do this every day, Monday through Friday, right about this time. Let me check in with the chat room. Taronda's here. You know I gotta see that. Jennifer's here. Jen's here too. Anybody else? Where's the chat room? Come on, everybody. We're not gonna wait. We're just gonna keep rolling. I'll tell you what this show is. This show is the High Noon Rant. Probably wondering, okay, so who's this guy? I am Pugs Moran. I am a human being. That's all. You don't need to know more about. Look, if you just watch the next 2-hour stream of consciousness rant, you're going to know everything you need to know about me, because that's what this show is, and it's what it has been every single day for the last 2.5 years. That's right. Every single day. Well, Monday through Friday. I take weekends off because I'm a normal person, and that's who this show is for. Normal people. Not the weirdos on the far right, not the weirdos on the far left. Hell, not even the weirdos on the moderate right or the moderate left. We are just the rest of the people who don't define one another by how they voted. We're just normal people. We're just trying to have fun. We're just trying to go to a kid's basketball game without a fight breaking out. You know what I mean? Just trying to go to a school board meeting to figure out the nutritional value of my son's lunch, and all of a sudden there's a riot and I got to bring pepper spray. That's the world we live in, and that's the world that I refuse to acknowledge is my home. So we do this show every day, noon to whenever. It is me doing a stream of consciousness rant on everything that's happening in the world and everything that you need to know about this day. Stream of consciousness rant. No breaks, no commercials, no music, no weather, no traffic, none of that. Just me. Blah, 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 blah. For the next 2 hours on every subject that you need to know about. Here's how I wake up early in the morning and I start going through all the newspapers. That's right. I have them all delivered. They're stacked up right on my porch. Yeah, that's not true. The internet. So I go through all the stories and I compile a list for you of the most important things that you need to know about this day. We execute the show proper, which is actually 4 different independent components. We do it in quarters, like a football game. First quarter, the first thing that we do on the show is we do a segment called Erstwhile on this day, where we take a look back on the history of this day. I cherry pick the items that have defined our understanding of what December the 12th has meant. And I rant on whatever it is for a couple of seconds. Then we move on. Quarter 2 of the show is birthdays. We talk about people born on this day, celebrities and the like, and ultimately it's just, do we think they're cool or do these people suck? We talk about them for a little bit. Again, not every birthday. I cherry pick the ones that I can rant on. Because again, see, back to the theme. This is a stream of consciousness where I just do nothing but talk continuously. It's not extemporaneously, but Quarter 2 is birthdays. Quarter 3, the deads. We have fun with the deads. The deads is where we go through the list of people who died on this day throughout history, and we open up their life's resume and decide, are they in heaven or hell? Okay, those are the first 3 quarters. Fourth quarter is, of course, the meat and potatoes. That's all of the things that are happening today, all the stuff you need to know about right now, this day, what people are talking about, what people are buzzing about. You people need to be informed. I love that you are. You wouldn't be here every day for the last 2.5 years if you didn't have at least some thirst. I'm not feeling great today, guys. I mean, I'm going to be fine. Don't get me wrong. But it's this allergy thing. It's the weather. The weather doesn't know what it's doing. It was like gorgeous, and then it got cold, and air conditioning heat. So bear with me, if you will. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. All right, let's get started on today's show. No, wait. First, let me say hi to everybody. Cherry pick this, Byron. Let me say hi to my friends in the chat room. Byron is here. I see the head, the patriarch of the Seeley family is here. Whitney's here. Byron. Oh, we already said Byron. Who else we got? We got Leslie. We got Adam. Adam with some shit football takes. I had him, and it's because I'm trying to be a better person. The old me is like Adam. The old me derives some kind of inner peace, inner satisfaction from just grinding gears with everybody I meet. I used to love that. trying to be a better person. Adam had a football. He responded to a post of mine yesterday on Twitter, which, by the way, you can follow me on Twitter at Pugs Moran. He responded to a post of mine, and I was like triggered. I don't know why, but I was just like, fuck, and I responded in only 3 words, and it wasn't even profanity. It was just real dismissive, and I responded with it. And a second later, I went, he's your friend. You don't talk to friends like that. And I went, oh, I got to delete that. I go, he's not just some random. So I am attempting to be better on social media. And Adam, I want to thank you for putting me to the test yesterday. I failed, but I learned from my mistake. All right. Who else do we have in the chat room? Is the chat room merged? I can't see the whole thing. God, you know what? We're just going to start the show. Folks, welcome to the High Noon Rant for today, December the 12th, year of our Lord, 2023. December the 12th is the 346th day of the year. There are 19 more. 19. Oh, God. You guys, we're inside 20 days until New Year's Eve. Get them New Year's Eve plans started. All right, folks. Here, we got this. No executive producer again today. And I'm not pushing hard for tips. And, we know the drill. You guys always come through at the end when I push hard. But I will leave that up. Thank you so much. High tip of the day gets to be the executive producer of tomorrow's show. If one comes in, whatever. You guys keep me afloat. So I appreciate you. So I'm going to leave that up. But also, let me remind you. Oh, did I have? You know what? Is Peter here? I needed Peter for a second. Because Peter sent me something yesterday in email form, and for some reason I couldn't open it, but we'll get back to that. We're going to do a whole at the end of the show. We'll try and figure that out. All right. I need a sip of coffee, and then we'll get started with quarter one. Erstwhile on this day, or previously on, or just on this day in history, if you're just, a lame-o. I try to be a bit more fabulous. I try to be a bit more flamboyant. I try to be a bit more colorful. Erstwhile on this day in 1787, Pennsylvania becomes the second state to ratify the U.S. Constitution. Welcome to the party, Pennsylvania. On this day in 1901, Guillermo Marconi receives the first. I do that. That's a thing I do. If you're new, and you're not, but if you were new, you would know that I like to overpronounce ethnic names. It's fun. It's fun for me. And one, it's fun for me. Two, I'm just trying to be respectful. So, Guillermo Marconi receives the first transatlantic radio signal, the letter S. In Morse code. All right. He received it at Signal Hill in St. John's, Newfoundland. That's kind of a big deal. The letter S. Just the letter S. Maybe it was suck it. Maybe that was the first one. Suck it, Marconi. On this day, who's the guy that he competed with? Who stole? Somebody messed with Marconi. Was it Edison? Didn't he work for Edison? Or did Marconi work for RCA? Was it David? I don't know. My history is a little foggy on this now. Moving on. Erstwhile on this day in 1941. Well, I better adjust my tone on this because this ain't fun. The Holocaust. Adolf Hitler declares the imminent extermination of the Jews at a meeting in the Reich Chancellery. A couple of things on this very topic. I watched a video today of some MP, member of parliament in Poland, some far-right Polish MP stormed out into the halls of the Polish parliament with, his staff trailing him with the cameras because, you got to get the viral clout out of this. And he took an fire extinguisher, and he sprayed all the Hanukkah candles. I almost said the F word because this is just so. I just want to beat this man with a shovel. This is a member of the Polish parliament doing this. I mean, there was no country. Well, I shouldn't say no country, but certainly a country that bore the initial brunt of Hitler's final solution or his master plan, whatever it was, to round up the Jews. He did it in Poland first. It was the Warsaw ghettos where some of the worst conditions were first known to the outside world. This was in Poland. This is what the Nazis did to the citizens of Poland. And in 2023, there was a member of the Polish parliament who is picking up where they left off. Horrifying. On this day, the other thing I was going to say, there are two things about that story that is just, so on Netflix, don't know if you guys have Netflix. Everybody has Netflix. Ladies and gentlemen, my co-host, schizophrenic me, he's heard off mic. He's the voice inside my head. Everybody has Netflix. So as you're watching, if you're looking for something to watch on Netflix, there's a terrific new World War II documentary series. If you're, okay, ladies, I'm sorry. There isn't a woman out there who wants to watch World War II in color. It's just not a woman thing. It's just not. It's a guy thing. I mean, maybe like the Venn diagram of, like, what would it be? It would be like Andy Cohen on Bravo, his couch talk show, and World War II documentaries on Netflix. Very little overlap. Very little overlap. Homosexuals in the military might be the only overlap, and that's very rare. Anyway, my point is this: it's really good. It's really good. And they I think it's episode 1 or episode 2, where they really talk about the Warsaw ghettos, and they talk about what Hitler did to Poland. So, you know. On this day in 1956, the United Nations Security Council Resolution 121. 121. If you had 121. Resolution 121 relating to the acceptance of Japan into the United Nations is adopted. Welcome to the party, Japan. This was 1956, decade after we dropped Fat Man and Little Boy on them. We let them come to the big people table again. We said, okay, you're welcome back. All right, you've come to heal. That's what happened. On this day in the year 2000, the United States Supreme Court releases its decision in Bush v. Gore. Man, that was crazy. Like, I remember hanging Chads in Florida and all Catherine Harris, all these great names from that era. I remember being in the midst of that and going, this is history. This is probably the most significant event that my generation will ever live through. It was so cute, wasn't it? It was so folksy. It was so, we were about a year away from September 11th, maybe less than a year away from September. Yeah, less than a year. It was on this day in 2000. We were less than a year away from September 11th. So, the good old days when things were simpler. On this day, the United States Supreme Court releases its decision in Bush v. Gore. On this day in 2021, Dutch Formula One racer driver Max Verstappen wins the controversial 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, beating 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton to become the first. I'm trying to be respectful of all these international names. To become the first Formula One world champion. I don't remember this being, it says controversial. I don't remember 2021 being controversial. 2021, I watched that whole season. I don't know. We're not going to rehash it here. This is just another, I'm getting old and I'm forgetting things. All right, let's move on. Quarter 2 of today's show. They say it's their birthday. We don't play music on this show because we don't have the musical rights to, but I sing. So, I sing bad. I sing. You decide if it's good or bad. So I sing the songs. Speaking of singing the songs, born on this day in 1950, ladies and gentlemen, old Blue Eyes Frank Sinatra. He one of them dudes. If I had really thought about this, like, Frank Sinatra is one of my favorite dudes, one of my favorite characters. Like, I think that if in real life I knew him, I think I'd really hold him in high regard. I really think I would think he's a cool guy. He seems so cool. So big too, man. There was nobody bigger for like decades and decades and decades. He was so powerful. Everything in Hollywood went through Frank. He was like the first guy to be like the #1 recording star in America and, winning Oscars for From Here to Eternity. Yeah, he was cool. Do you know what Frank Sinatra benefited from? And this is a real interesting sort of piece of history. Frank Sinatra was a wonderful singer, but if Frank Sinatra had been 5 years older, Frank Sinatra would probably not have been a singer, because Frank Sinatra was 5 years older. It was an era where people sang publicly. If you wanted to be a, money singer, a guy who got paid professionally to be a singer, you had to sing in a certain way. And if you look back and you listen to the music of the 20s and all that stuff, and why did you have to sing a certain way? Because you had to sing in front of people if you wanted to make money. And the more people you could sing in front of, the more money you made. So that's how professional singers made money, singing in Broadway theaters. Now, the problem was there were no sound systems. So you had to sing in a specific way in order to be a popular, commercially successful singer. And that style was, hey, we're singing to the back and we've got the megaphones and da-da-da-da-da. It was that kind of singing. Had Frank Sinatra been 5 years older than he was, that would have been the era, and Frank couldn't do that. He didn't have that kind of voice. What did Frank Sinatra do? Well, Frank Sinatra's rise coincided with the rise of amplification in microphones. And what did microphones allow singers to do? Well, it allowed them to be more intimate. They didn't have to sing to the back row, which is what they used to have to do. No, Frank could croon. And that's something that he did. And he used the microphone. He used the ability to be. Oh my God, that's what made him, man. I'm telling you, timing is everything. Timing is everything. Had Frank Sinatra been born 5 years earlier, he'd have completely missed out on that. He'd I want to be a singer, and then he'd have tried that. He'd have tried that, and he'd have failed miserably. Had he been born 5 years later, well, he may have had to get in line for all the other crooners that, got in there before him who were born 5 years earlier. Frank Sinatra, born on this day in 1915. Born on this day in 1923, Bob Barker. Oh, man. He just died, he did. He died. He didn't make 100. He just died like a couple months ago, right? Bob Barker, born on this day in 1923. Born on this day in 1940, Dionne Warwick. Because that's what friends are for. I get some Dionne Warwick songs confused with Gladys Knight songs. Like he's leaving on that midnight. That ain't Dionne Warwick. I think that's Gladys Knight. Anyway, Dionne Warwick is a really fun Twitter follow, or at least she used to be. Like a couple of years ago, she came on Twitter and she was flaming stuff and she was funny. And then I remember thinking, okay, this isn't Dionne Warwick. This is Dionne Warwick hired some young person to be her Twitter persona. And they were good. I haven't seen them in a while. I don't know. Anyway, also Saturday Night Live. Ego Wodum does a really funny Dionne Warwick. I love her. I don't care attitude. It's great. All right. Happy birthday, Dionne Warwick. Born on this day in 1949. I don't even know if I'm saying this correctly. He's not the science guy. He's Bill Nye, the British actor. Harry Potter. You guys Harry Potter people? I don't know if you're Harry Potter people. Bill Nye, the Scottish actor. He is, hold on. Really? Hold on, give me here. Because although I said we don't play songs, I don't care. We're going to play a song. We're going to play a song here. Bill Nye sings, the British actor, he sings my favorite Christmas song of all time. Well, Pugs, what is your favorite Christmas song of all time? Well, it's this from Love Actually. Remember that this guy is awesome. He's Billy Mack. Okay, let me tell you what this story is. If you're not a big fan of Love Actually the way I am, because this is the best Christmas song ever. This is my favorite Christmas song. So let me give you the context on what you're seeing here. In the film Love Actually, Bill Nye, that's him, the actor, he plays 60s burnout has-been rock star Billy Mack. Billy Mack used to be a star back in the 60s and 70s, but now he's like an old burned out rock star dude, kind of like think Keith Richards without any marketability for the past 20 years. That's who he plays. That's the character. Why is Be Right Back up? We want to do birthdays. Did I accidentally put Be Right Back up? We're doing birthdays. It's Bill Nighy's birthday. Sorry, I'm just reading something that Anna wrote in the chat room and trying not to be triggered and trying not to read into it and find out what the context of it is, because that's important before I get triggered. But all right, so the context of this is Billy Mack is the character in Love Actually. He's a has-been, but he's got one hit from like the 70s in they're desperately in a crash show of just abhorrent commercialism at Christmas time. They have recut his old 60s hits, and they've sort of turned it into a Christmas song by changing the lyric, love is all around you, to Christmas is all around you. And the character of Billy Mack, he promotes it incessantly, but completely honestly. Like he tells everybody, this is garbage, don't buy this, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it becomes a big hit. He leans into it. People ironically turn it into the #1 Christmas song. This is in the movie, Love Actually. And this is my favorite Christmas song. We're going to watch this. I'm going to drink some coffee, and it's totally awesome. So enjoy.
So, Billy, welcome back to the airwaves. A new Christmas single, cover of Love Is All Around.
Except we've changed the word love to Christmas.
Can I just say that my favorite thing in the scene is the drummer drumming Spread Eagle with her sort of like Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct. The crash, over-sexualization, and attempt to make money at any turn with this song is why it's my favorite Christmas song. Also, it's catchy as hell.
I feel it in my fingers. I feel it in my toes. Christmas is all around me, and so the feeling grows. It's written in the wind, so everywhere I go. So if you really love Christmas, come on and let it snow. Christmas, I always will. My mind's made up the way that I feel. There's no beginning, there'll be no end. 'Cause on Christmas, you can depend. You gave your presents to me, and I gave mine to you. Beside me in everything I do. You know I love Christmas, I always will. My mind's made up the way that I feel. There's no beginning, there'll be no end. On Christmas, you can
All right, I am not the type to abide by a guitar solo, but that is the greatest Christmas song of all time. I love that Christmas song. Bill Nye, he's so awesome. He's such a fun actor, and he's so fun in Love Actually. Bill Nye celebrating a birthday. Am I saying it right? His name is spelled Nighy. Nighy. Bill Nye. I don't know. I just know I like him. Anytime I see him in a movie, I'm like, that dude's great. That's Billy Mack from Love Actually. Happy birthday to Bill Nye. Born on this day in 1957, Sheila E. She lived a glamorous life. Is she dead though? I thought she was dead. Wait. I don't want to find out. I don't care. Born on this day. I mean, I care. I don't want to be bummed out. It's Christmas time, people. I don't want to learn that Sheila E. is dead. I think she's dead. I'm just, in my mind, I think she's dead. So why would I be afraid? If she's alive, I should be happy. All right, let's see. It's a big moment for me, you guys. Let's see here. Sheila E. I really thought she was dead. Oh, okay. she's alive? I thought she was dead. All right, good. Sheila E. She lives a glamorous life. Let's see. You're born on this day in 1970. Oh my goodness! Holy cow! We've got umbilical triplets! Yay! Those are 3 people born on the same day, same year, all going on to be famous, and all having something in common. Like in this case, they're all fabulous hotties. 3 fabulous hotties, all born on the exact same day. First, can I introduce to you someone whose name you don't know, because I can't even pronounce it properly. But if you were a fan of the TV show Twin Peaks, you remember Shelley the waitress. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Madkin Amick's birthday. Madkin, I think that's it. Madkin Amick. Whoo! Go ahead and Google her. I mean, she's still beautiful. She's 53 today, but I would Google Shelley Twin Peaks. Whoo! She was beautiful. Served the best cherry pie in the county. Let's see here. Also, umbilical twins, umbilical triplets with Madkin Amick. How about Jennifer Connelly? Wow! Wee! Jennifer Connelly, 53 years old today. Jennifer Connelly, what was that? What was it? You know what I always look, there's a lot to think about with Jennifer Connelly. Was she with Denise Richards? No, that was the chick from Party of Five, right? What was she? She was in Career Opportunities. Was that it? Do you remember the one? You remember the movie with John Cryer where he snuck into a Target store overnight? And by the way, let me tell you, when I saw that movie, like in the early 90s, whenever it came out, we had not had Target stores in our area. So years later, when Target stores actually came in, I went, that's a real chain? Or is it this like the Mighty Ducks playing NHL hockey now? Is this like a chain store that's named after because I didn't know Target was a real store. Anyway, that's the movie she was in with John Cryer. Premise was they both independently, for some reason or another, I don't remember, got locked into a Target store overnight. And there's a scene with Jennifer Connelly where she's bored. And so she's riding one of those coin-operated merry-go-round horses that just bucks. Yeah. I don't know if you remember that scene. Is it Frank Whaley? Is that who it is? Barney says Frank Whaley. See, Clone Factory. That's an honest Clone Factory mistake. John Cryer, Matthew Broderick, Frank Whaley, they all come out of the same line of clones. So thank you for pointing that out. I have that. Sometimes, I've done such research on it that sometimes they all blend together. Good catch, though. Good catch, my little Barney. Barney is now my Clone Factory lieutenant in all of my researching. Thank you. Anyway. That scene with Jennifer Connelly on the horse made me rethink a whole lot of stuff about, like, it opened my, like that. I never thought one of those things could be sexy. And here we are. Happy birthday, Jennifer Connelly. She's part 2 of the 3-part umbilical triplets that we have here. All fabulous babes. You like something a little bit more, what, you like black girls? Regina Hall. There you go. Ooh, I like Regina Hall too. Regina Hall, Jennifer Connelly, Madkin Amick, all born on the same day. Umbilical triplets, hottie umbilical triplets. Something for everybody there. Although not really. If you like blondes, there's nothing for you. Born on this day in 1975. Happy birthday to Mayim Bialik, American actress, neuroscientist, and author. She once said, somebody asked her glibly, it's like, well, why didn't you, why when Blossom went off the air, why did you start going to school? Why did you become a neuroscientist? And she said, because I didn't want to be embarrassed by being another child star who did nothing. And I thought, that's a pretty good answer. That's, a whole bunch of other child stars. Like you got Frankie Munoz from Malcolm in the Middle. He's sinking all of his money into auto racing. This chick's out there learning science stuff. Mayim Bialik. Blossom. Wait, she was Blossom, right? I think she was Blossom. She was Blossom. I don't know. There's a couple of different shows like that. Born on this day in 1981, Andrew Wentworth. Andrew Wentworth, NFL football player. He's now a commentator. He's getting a lot of commercial work. I like Andrew Wentworth. Didn't know who he was before like 4 or 5 years ago. He's a lineman. And then suddenly he wins a Super Bowl with the Rams. And they're like, the old guy is famous now. And we all went, okay. And it turns out he's got a personality. And we're like, he can be famous. We like him. Andrew Wentworth. Got a birthday today. Came out of nowhere. Born on this day in 1994. Otto Warmbier. Warmbier. He's the kid. He's the American who was murdered by Kim Jong-un, and the American response was nothing. Love letters. That's right. Love letters was the response. Yeah, Otto Warmbier, born on this day in 1994. Christian kid. He shouldn't have been over there, but you know, I like to think that America. What was that thing? The thing about Rome. What was this in? It was in something that I just saw where they talked about, was it John Adams? I think it was, where they talked about how one of the reasons that people stopped fighting the Roman Empire as they expanded into new lands was because there was a law in the Roman Empire that a citizen of Rome was free to walk without fear of molestation, imprisonment, anything. A citizen of Rome could walk anywhere in the free world because it was known that if you did harm to a citizen of Rome, the entire might of the Roman Empire would come down upon you. Roman citizens were safe in the world because everybody knew that. Otto Warmbier was born on this day in 1994. Let's talk about deaths. These are the people who died. These are the people who died on this day. This is the fun one, though, right? Because we get to decide whether or not, you know, these people are in heaven or in hell. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Here's a good one. Peter Boyle, ladies and gentlemen, died on this day in 2006. Of course, he's Frank Barone from Everybody Loves Raymond. He's the dad. Awesome dad. Remember when he drove the car through the house? That was hysterical. Or wait, was that the mom that drove the car through the house? I don't know. Whatever. He was funny in that scene. Also, Frankenstein in Mel Brooks's Young Frankenstein. He's also a good dramatic actor. Like in the 1970s and stuff. Peter Boyle, man, was in a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff. Peter Boyle, heaven or hell? I'm putting him in heaven because I like that dude. Although Frank Barone, you're probably, yeah. That dude. No, Frank wasn't bad. I think Frank was mean to the people in his personal universe because he was so frustrated by the greater world outside, and he couldn't be the bad guy. He wishes he could in the greater world outside. So all of that gets stifled down, and it comes out when he's most comfortable, which is around his family. Yeah, Frank Barone, Peter Boyle, he's going to heaven. All right. Also, dead on this day in 2007, Ike Turner. Just go ahead. Look, we don't even need to have a conversation about Ike Turner. Ike Turner's going to hell. Ike Turner wants to go to hell. Ike Turner won't go to heaven. Ike Turner's burning in hell, and he's having fun. They do have a kick-ass band in hell, though. I got to tell you. Dead on this day in 2017. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know where to put him. Because he's a rock guy. All right, dead on this day in 2017, Pat Denizio of the Smithereens. I'm putting him in heaven. People have no say in it. The Smithereens, man. The Smithereens were so great. I remember, so Pat Denizio, the Smithereens broke up because he got all political and he ran for political office. Actually, what happened was the Smithereens broke up probably because Pat Denizio hooked up with Belinda Carlisle and they got married. And all of a sudden he had go-go money. You know, he didn't have, the Smithereens were a club band. Smithereens had a bunch of MTV hits, but they were never an amphitheater band. They were a club band. You could see the Smithereens at a club. They were badass, and they liked it that way. That's what they wanted. I remember years later when there was a small resurgence of bands like Jet, the Vines, the Strokes. There was this little bubble up about 15 years of that, and I went, yeah, it's about time somebody be influenced by the Smithereens. It's about time that sound come back, that cool ass guitar crunchy but still popping melodic songs. I love the Smithereens. Behind the Wall Asleep, She had hair like Jeannie Shrimpton back in 1965 or 63. I'm not sure. I don't know. Pat Denuzio, we're putting him in heaven. Dead on this day in 2017. Dead on this day in 2019. Danny Aiello. Heaven, right? Danny Aiello, huh? Danny Aiello was one of the first generation clones. He was introduced in the late 60s. Danny Aiello was in a line of clones. Paul Sorvino was in the Danny Aiello line. Dom DeLuise was in that. They had different shapes, different sizes. These were the non-leading man categories, the ethnic non-leading man. They were looking for these guys. There were a lot of gangster movies, and they needed a lot of fat Italian guys, and so they started cranking out these clones. Danny Aiello, 2019. Paul Sorvino, too. I always get Paul Sorvino and Danny Aiello confused because they are the same clone model. Exactly the same clone model. They did some updates to it later in the late 70s, and they released the Chaz Palminteris. And there's a whole nother generation of that. The Sopranos really went into that clone line to basically fill out the ranks of their casts. Your Big Pussies, your Bobby Bacalas, all of these characters, they all come from that genetic original first line of Danny Aiellos and Dom DeLuise's and all of that. All right, moving on. Yeah, that's it. We're putting him in heaven, right? Danny Aiello goes to heaven. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. All right. Folks, if you are so inclined and you support this kind of talk radio the way it should sound without all that political BS, just normal people who aren't triggered by nonsense talking about the world around us. I don't define you by how you vote. You don't define me by the stupid things I say, right? We just all get together and we're like, that guy. That's what we do. We're not burning down Burger Kings or, standing on our front lawns with AK-47s. That's not what we're doing here. Okay. So let's move on. First and foremost, Israel. Israel is trending. We start out with Israel first and foremost because of the war going on over there. War going on in Gaza. I don't know. It spilled over to the greater Middle East, which was a great concern. Right? When these first things started, we were like, all right, so how soon before the West Bank goes up? How soon before Lebanon goes up? How soon before we've got uncontrollable crowds in the streets in Cairo and Tehran? That hasn't happened. There were protests early, and they've kind of gone away. And now it's just, let's carpet bomb Gaza. Now it's just between what the Israelis and the Gazans are getting into. And it seems to be just that. Relentless carpet bombing. Here's an interesting story, though, that I saw. I was watching this earlier today. The story of, have you ever heard of the Cheetah Battalion? This is like something out of a Austin Powers movie. The IDF, which is the Israeli Defense Forces, they have this group called the Cheetah Battalion. And it's all chicks. And it's all like special forces chicks. And it's all, I was looking, they all seem to be attractive. Like they show them all, and they're all in their uniforms, and they're looking all scary and badass. But you know how you can tell? Like, first of all, they're all physically fit. So they all have nice bodies, and they're athletic and all that stuff. But then you're looking at the faces, and you're like, oh, those are pretty girls. Oh, I get it. So this elite cheetah squad, which the IDF is now employing inside Gaza, secret missions, like the cheetah squad, the girls, I don't know why, but here's the story. Israel has deployed a battalion of their best, strongest, and most professional female fighters to carry out a special activity in Gaza. Israeli media received instructions from the commander of the mixed battalion, dubbed the Cheetah Battalion, to create an all-woman special forces team. Although Major Shira is the woman in charge of it, Major Shira was unable to reveal much information about their activity. She said that their specialist team was helping with the continuation of fighting and gathering of military intelligence inside Gaza. She said, we are fighters alongside men in a cooperation with special units. This is a high point, another glass ceiling that has been shattered. Major Shira added that this is an exciting point in time for her and her team, both as commander and IDF and as women. She said, we have been through hundreds of violent smuggling and shooting. She said, we have been through hundreds of violent smuggling, and shooting is not a foreign thing to us. And still, But still, entering Gaza is different. All right, so there you go. What's going on over there? Hot chicks. They're sending hot chicks in. They're sending what? And we know these hot chicks exist because from time to time they end up in Hollywood and they're Wonder Woman. Yeah, Wonder Woman was I don't know if she was in the Cheetah Squad, but what's her name? I can't think of her name. Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot. She was in the IDF. She was an Israeli. So, you know. And have you ever seen the Miss Universe pageant? I discovered this very early on in life. I'm probably like 10 years old, and I'm like, so women from Israel are the hottest in the world, huh? I mean, every year, the Israeli Miss Universe contestant was like jaw-droppingly hot. Two things that's what I know. I know that Gal Gadot was in the military, and I know that vis-a-vis Israeli females are hot military chicks. All right, moving on. Zelensky's in Washington. He's meeting with the Senate today. He's got his hand out. He's like, more money, sir. And like I said yesterday, man, too little, too late, bro. You struck, you got all you could. You did really well in the first round. Very early on, after the war started, you were like, a cause celeb, and everybody was rallying around you. And that's when you had your hand out. You got all kinds of money. And by the way, I'm not taking a position on whether or not we should or should not give him money. What I'm telling you is what the climate is right now and why he ain't getting nothing. He ain't getting nothing. It's the bad timing. You needed to wrap up the war quickly. You didn't. Now it's like this stalemate. It looks like it could go on for years. You need more money if you're going to win. And we're saying, we don't think you're going to win. We think that this is just a war of attrition at this point, and you don't have the resources to outlast the Russian Empire. So, it's sad, I guess, just from a human, again, not taking a point, humanistic guy. He's trying to save his country. And I'm sorry. I just don't think it's going to happen. By the way, I'm not telling you how, if I was in, the Senate, how I would feel personally. I'm not giving you my opinion on this. I'm telling you that the climate mood is wrong. Mood is wrong, Zelensky. Bad time for you to be here doing this. The Texas Supreme Court is getting a lot of play. We here in Texas, very proud of our Supreme Court. I don't know that we're proud of our Supreme Court. I've never given it much thought. Again, you know why I don't give the Texas Supreme Court much thought? Because although I live in Texas, I'm a normal person. You know what I give thought to? Gas prices. You know what I give thought to? Is my kid going to be safe? You know what I give thought to? Am I going to have a job this coming January? Those are the things I give. I don't give deep contemplative thought to the Texas Supreme Court, but it's being thrust in our face now because the Texas Supreme Court rules against first woman to seek court-approved abortion in 50 years. So this woman's got a baby that's got a disease that's not going to survive. It's going to die. She should be able to have the medical procedure that allows her not to have to go through that. This is, again, why I say this is not a men's issue, okay? However, I'm going to speak on this issue because I personally have a bit of a history in this issue, firsthand knowledge. Women who are forced to deliver stillborn babies or dead babies or to full term and to carry them after knowing, that is a level of emotional and psychological cruelty that only a woman has to bear. Shut up, men. You don't know that unless you're like me, unless you went through this, unless you went 9 months with a baby. And then we found out 2 hours before the delivery. It was only 2 hours. It was only 2 hours that we had to live with the idea that what was going to have to be delivered. My point is this, and I'm not trying to exploit this. We men can't. Now, I happen to have been, married to a woman who had to go through that. Now, I didn't. But so my point is this: shut up, men. Texas Supreme Court. This woman's baby is not going to be born alive. It's going to die. It's dying slowly inside of her. We can end this, but no. Because what? Because Jesus? Because this is a Jesus thing here in Texas? This is not political. This is about human compassion. That the law, the way it is in this state, is saying that this woman is forced to carry this thing to completion and then give it a normal birth. Why? Why? Men should not be involved in this decision. This needs to be a decision that women who understand what carrying a baby is all about and understand what losing a baby and then understand there is so much that we men just should not have a say in, and this is chief among them. So according to the law in the state of Texas, this woman is now going to be forced to have the baby because that's how the law is here. Now, of course, that's not going to happen. She's already gone. She's left the state. This was illegal. She was trying to get the state to change this so that other people wouldn't have to do what she is now doing, which she's leaving the state. She's going to a more civilized state that actually cares about the cause of the woman, the mother. Not just some weird, this is all political. This is all political and at the federal level, and it's worth billions and billions of dollars in fundraising. It is not about this woman, this Dallas area woman. I don't even, are they making her name public? I'm not even sure. The Texas Supreme Court, yeah, they are. They're making her name public. The Texas Supreme Court, in a highly anticipated decision on Monday evening, ruled that Kate Cox, a Dallas area mother carrying a fetus with a fatal condition, does not qualify for an abortion under state laws based on her doctor's good faith belief that she needs the procedure. Her doctor is saying she needs this. We're going to go back to the 1870s where women died in childbirth all the time because Jesus. The statute in Texas requires the judgment be a reasonable medical judgment, and Dr. Carson has not asserted that her good faith belief about Mrs. Cox's condition meets that standard. In a near total abortion ban, Texas prohibits abortions beginning at fertilization, with exceptions only for cases in which a pregnant patient risks death or substantial impairment of a major bodily function. Again, I say this whole thing is moot because she's just going to a different state. I'm not entirely against the idea of states being able to decide for themselves whether or not they want to allow abortion in that state. I think there is a complicated issue there when we start talking about the Constitution and all rights gathered unto men and all that, and this sort of being a federation of states all believing and subscribing to that singular notion there in the Constitution. So that would be a bit of a conflict, but isn't that why we have a Supreme Court? Figure that out. So, okay, so let's just say as we start off this conversation that I'm willing to accept that if states really don't want it, they shouldn't probably be forced to have it. But even in that case, there has to be some distinction drawn between what is an abortion of convenience, because let's be honest, that's what we think about. That's what this is really about, abortion of convenience. It's a perfectly healthy person with a perfectly healthy baby. She just doesn't want to, the condom broke or whatever. She doesn't want to be pregnant. So what this is really about is making her give birth to that baby. And okay, that's a different issue. But let's draw the distinction between that and between the woman, the mother in Dallas with a husband and a family, and they've got this baby. This isn't an abortion of convenience. This is an abortion of mercy. There needs to be a distinction made. And I don't think men should be in on the conversation again, because the emotional cost to a woman who is careful, guys, stop it. Stop it. I mean, I am telling you to stop it. And I have been the husband of watching my wife go through that. I have been a husband who went through that, who experienced that. I'm not going to dwell on it. It's awful. But because I went through that, and because I watched this woman that I love go through that, I understand that there's no way that I can relate to it. There's no way I can just see how it affected her and go, okay, this is obviously, I mean, I'm depressed. I'm sad because, we lost a child, but there's a whole other level of thing going on that needs to be considered that I don't think men have the capability of considering, and that women do. And this is why, come on, man. Look, women, stay out of our hard-on and farting issues, and men, let's stay out of their, menstruation and, reproductive issues. Please, come on. What a dark subject. All right, I'm sorry. Let's move on. Let's get lighter here on the rant. But see, this is what happens on the rant. This is the stream of consciousness rant. I see the subjects and I just go. I have no filter, no governor, other than, a mother who raised me right. So I'm not afraid I'm going to accidentally say something I'll regret because, again, I'm not an asshole. And I know that there are assholes out there who will try and take what I say out of context. Just, I don't know what, win gotcha. That's fine. I'm streaming. Fuck you. I think if you take me on the whole, you'll see that I'm a pretty reasonable guy who can have a conversation with you on just about anything. All right. What else do we have here? The Golden Globes. We talked about this yesterday. We went through all the list of nominees and all that stuff. Who's going to tell us the nominees on that night? Nobody knows because ain't nobody want to host it. Yeah, the Golden Globes can't find a host. Tina Fey and Amy Poehler are like, nope, we ain't never doing that again. They asked Chris Rock. He was like, nope, not even remotely interested. So it's only like a month away, I think. The Golden Globes are a month away, and they do not have a host. Who should host? Mr. Beast. Let's just do it. Let's just put somebody from the internet on there. Who could host the Golden Globes? I don't know. Whatever. Moving on. They say, here's why. Some publicists were quoted here in this article saying about why nobody wants to host the Golden Globes or the Oscars or anything like that. Because now in the age of viral, the age of Twitter, the age of TikTok, it's a lose-lose situation. Even if they're good, people who have something against them for some other reason will turn it into anyway, you get what I'm saying. They don't want to go on. They don't want to. Ricky Gervais should host every award show. I think Ricky Gervais is the only guy who's got the that fearlessness that is required in this day and age. Dave Chappelle did, but they beat it out of Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle, it's not that Dave Chappelle's scared. Dave Chappelle's just tired. He's just like, you know what? This is why I live in Ohio. Obama and white people. Okay, there you go. That's boy, is that a toxic title right there? That's just how I noted this story. So hold on, let me make sure we do this. Here's what this story's about. So there's a new Netflix film called Leave the World Behind. I talked about it yesterday. Julia Roberts, Ethan Hawke, that guy whose name I can't pronounce. Eli Okafor. I don't know. What is his name? Or is it Mahershala Ali? Is that it? Did I just nail it? Is it Mahershala Ali? I think it's Mahershala Ali. Look at me. Oh, I worry about senility and all that stuff. And sometimes when names escape me, I get panicked. All right, Mahershala, is it him though? Or is it no? You're probably being racist. I probably am. There are a lot of names now in 2023 that I struggle with. That's all. I'm from the Midwest. Everybody I grew up with had biblical names. A bunch of Bobs and Johns and Steves and Davids. The Marys and Angelas. Angelas. A lot of Heathers, if I'm being honest. A lot of Heathers, a lot of Ambers. Where were we? Okay, so there's this new movie. It's called Leave the World Behind. And as I said yesterday, I don't know how you spoil it. It's kind of spoil-proof. And that's kind of the main complaint that people seem to have about this movie. I loved it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was creepy. I thought it was, my son and I watched it late night, bed, covers, dark, big bowl of popcorn. It was fun. We enjoyed it. So, again, ambiance means a lot to, whether or not you enjoy whatever it is you're indulging in. And we enjoyed the experience. The movie was great. We had a good time. So Leave the World Behind. I recommend it. It's cool. It's creepy. It's fun. But so when Barack and Michelle Obama signed a production deal with Netflix years ago to act as, they will start producing things. And why not? Their eldest daughter is out there in Hollywood. Why not build something for her to run? Why not? So they started a production company. And I don't know what the production company's called, but whatever. And they've been attached to a couple of things. And they're attached as consultants to this film, Leave the World Behind. I don't know if it says produced by, or they're one of the many, they have a lot of producers, but whatever, their names appear in the titles. I thought I saw it under consultant, and it would make sense because he was the president of the United States, and the film Leave the World Behind is about, it's about a massive cyber attack on the United States. That's what Leave the World Behind is about, being cut off completely from everything else suddenly. I don't think I spoiled anything. If you see the trailer, that gives it away. So when I saw that, former president, I said the consultants on, I'm like, yeah, okay. So they signed this deal with Netflix. Netflix just wants to be associated with the name. They don't really have anything, so they're just going to sign them to things. Hey, would this really happen? They show them the movie. The Obamas go, I suppose it could happen, and then boom, consulted or produced, right? That's it. That's probably all. So in other words, they didn't write the film. They didn't have anything to do with the production of the film. Their name is just being used to, make the film seem a little bit more prestige. It's already got Julia Roberts. I don't know how much more prestige you need to be. So the premise of the movie is that this beautiful mansion type house out in a secluded part of, I want to say the Hamptons maybe, or Long Island, a family Airbnbs it. Ethan Hawke and Julia Roberts and their 2 kids. They Airbnb it for the weekend. They're going to go out to the Hamptons. They're going to have a nice little weekend, a little getaway, right? So they go out there. And in the middle of the night, the owner of the house, Mahershala Ali, and his daughter come knocking at the door, and they're like, "We got to stay here." He goes, "I know we Airbnb it to you, but there's a blackout in New York." See, this is the start of the cyber attack. But there's a blackout in New York, and we don't have anywhere to go. He goes, "So we'll just stay, in the basement here or whatever." So that's the premise. Now, there is a scene in the movie, the daughter of Mahershala Ali, who's like a 20-something-year-old, young, empowered, beyond-tastic black girl, right? She's having a conversation with her father, who's an incredibly successful, I think he's like a Wall Street guy or a lawyer or something, whatever. He's got a mansion in the Hamptons that he Airbnbs, and he's got a penthouse in downtown that he can't get to because of the blackouts. So there's a conversation between the black father and the black daughter. And the black daughter starts talking about why do we have these white people in our house? She starts being very radical. It's the movie. It's the character. So the Obamas are, see, told you the Obamas were racist, because this character is a typical young black woman who doesn't trust white people. And, she subscribes to all these crazy, oh yeah, that's what the black people are. Like, white people don't subscribe to crazy theories as well. Anyway, it's part of just the character in a movie. And by the way, the father totally shoots that down. The father's, I don't know, whatever. The point is this, it didn't strike me as racist. But you know what was racist? Julia Roberts' character was absolutely racist in the movie. They didn't say anything about that. They just want to talk about the one scene where the black teen girl is going, these white people shouldn't be in our house. And dad's like, we Airbnb and beat it. We're lucky that they let us stay here. That's kind of the conversation. Anyway, anything to go after the Obamas, I suppose. Look, there are plenty of legitimate things you can go after the Obamas about. I don't know, like the drone policy of the United States military during his term as president. But no, let's talk about bullshit like this. Christian Lang. Do you know what Christian Lang is? I didn't. Never heard of him. Do you know what trade shift is? I don't know what trade shift is. Just learned about it today, so don't feel bad. Trade shift is a unicorn in Silicon Valley. You know what a unicorn is? A unicorn is a startup that is valued at $1 billion or above. There's only been a couple, or now actually, I think because $1 billion doesn't mean $1 billion anymore. Now it seems like there's a bunch of unicorns, but I think the original unicorn was the original unicorn Uber. I think maybe that was it. That's where the phrase was kind of coined when Uber first came in. They were like, the valuation was over $1 billion. I don't know. My history on it is foggy, but that's what it means. So in other words, Trade Shift is a company that is a startup that is being highly valued. So Christian Lang is the president of this. Let's see. Here, let me show you what he looks like, because we're gonna want to see what he looks like while I tell you the story of what he got himself into. I don't even know what this company does. I think they're a software company or something. Hey, let's make them worth $1 billion. All right, let's see this guy. Oh, for crying out loud. Yeah, there he is. Oh, look at him. All right, so here, this fella is a billionaire CEO of a big techie company. He's very cool, very young. Look at him. Christian Lang, Chief Executive Officer of TradeShift, a unicorn valued at $1.1 billion. Well, he is no longer the CEO of TradeShift. He has been asked to leave, and you can understand why. I'll get to this story. Bay Area CEO has been accused in a lawsuit of enslaving his assistant. Do we have this right? Yeah. All right. So he's been fired. He's been fired because, Silicon Valley CEOs are crazy. They're wild, they're wacky, but and they're allowed to get away with a lot of stuff. But apparently, enslaving their personal assistant is not one. A CEO fired from a CEO fired from a major Bay Area technology company is accused in a new lawsuit of enslaving his assistant and sending her into a dark abyss of unwanted sexual horror. Okay, let's go through this, right? My first question. Hi, it's 2023. How did he enslave his assistant exactly? Because it just seems like in 2023, there are resources for her to not have to be enslaved if she didn't want. Did she not know that? Did she not know that she could just quit her job or whatever because she worked for him for 5 years with this arrangement? A CEO fired from a major Bay Area tech company. Here in October, San Francisco headquartered business software firm TradeShift, which attained unicorn status. I told you about this. The other headline, unicorn company CEO. Let's see here. Announced that it had terminated their CEO, Christian Lang, for gross misconduct on multiple grounds. This came after management learned about serious allegations of sexual assault and harassment against him. Let's delve into this story, guys. On Thursday, a woman identified as Jane Doe. Wait, let's see if we can follow up with her. Oh, it's not her real name. Christian Lang's real name is out there though. And maybe it should be. I don't know. This is a difficult one. I always go back and forth on this. I hate the Jane Doe. I hate that, you are free to just bring the most atrocious charges. If we are protecting the accuser, can we at least protect the person accused too? But we don't, because you, the great unwashed, you love those names to chew on and kick around. Nobody's name should be used in these situations until somebody deemed responsible by the county, the electorate, whatever, somebody has a chance to go through this. Oh, but now you're just, no, we're not. We're just not publicly accusing. People get accused on the front page. The retractions, the apologies for accusing them on the front page typically come in a bottom quarter of page 40. Nobody sees the apology, the retraction, or the update. It's the headline. It's the splashy innocent till proven guilty. Are you kidding me? In this country, we see somebody accused of something and we convict them instantly if it suits our purposes. If it doesn't, then the justice system is broken and it's all a mess, because that's who we are as people. On Thursday, a woman identified as Jane Doe sued TradeShift along with Lang, claiming that Lang, within months of her hiring as his executive assistant, coerced her into signing a slave contract. 5 years of rape, sexual abuse, torture, and assault followed, the lawsuit alleges. 5 years. Let's do this again, because this is what her lawsuit alleges. Within months of her hiring as his executive assistant, she was coerced into signing a slave contract. 5 years of rape, sexual abuse, torture, and assault followed. So she's his assistant. She's working there for a couple of months. Hi, Mr. Christian, or whatever his name is. I don't know. What was his name again? Doesn't matter. Hey, Mr. Actually, what is his name? I don't know what his name is. Christian Lang. There it is. He's on the screen. Mr. Lang, is your coffee all right? Yeah, Jane. And we'll call her Jane Doe because that's her name, of according to the lawsuit. Yeah, Jane, come on in here. The coffee's great. I want you to look over these documents. I've got a proposition for you. How was she coerced into signing a slave contract? And how was she allowing herself to be raped, in her own words, rape, sexual abuse, torture, and assault for years? There must have been something in it for her. She must have thought that there was something in it for her. Years. And she's only... Lang could not be reached for comment. Oh, I bet. Yeah, he's out on his yacht. He's in the Med with a bunch of hot women from that part of the world that don't complain about being slaves. Lang could not be reached for comment in a statement to the website TechCrunch in October about his firing. Lang denied the company's sexual misconduct allegations, saying, "There has never been an HR case, complaint, or former allegation filed against me," he says. Jane Doe claims that she told TradeShift's Human Resources Department and company officials about her suffering at the hands of the CEO under the slave contract. Well, young lady, I applaud you for going to HR, but did you then immediately go to the police? Because that's what you needed to do. Because, apparently HR systems in some companies, especially unicorns that are valued at over 1.1 billion, can't have these kinds of stories floating around about their CEOs. So quite possibly, they're not going to file it officially. That's what happened. This dude was the CEO of a $1.1 billion evaluated company. Do you know what that means? That means a lot of really rich and powerful people are extremely protective over the good name of Christian Lang and the company. So don't go to HR. Well, no, go to HR. Go to police first, though. A slave contract? You work at a Silicon Valley company and you think a slave contract isn't something that you should go to the police over? You don't have a cousin who's an attorney? You don't just say, hey, what's this about? Or maybe you do. Maybe you do. And maybe on some level you're like, okay, well, it's kind of fun, kind of kinky. I'm kind of open-minded. And you go along with it. And then, suddenly 5 years later, you decide this is, first of all, the guy, I'm glad that she did. This is how this is complicated because this guy needs to be taken down. This is obviously a guy who's got a weird, let's go into more about it. Lang could not be reached for comment. Doe claims that she told TradeShift's Human Resources Department and the company officials about how she suffered at his hands. But instead of protecting her, TradeShift, which has offices in London, Tokyo, and Paris, with 7 other international locations, instead fired her in 2020. TradeShift did not immediately respond to requests for comment on the lawsuit filed Thursday in San Francisco. The lawsuit does not make clear how long Doe worked at TradeShift. The story says 5 years this went on, so more than that. A purported copy of the slave contract running to 9 pages and bearing a signature alleged to be Lang's is filed as Exhibit A. She even had a copy of the contract. Among the many purported provisions of the contract are that Doe, this is what the contract says. This is what the slave contract says. Doe must always be sexually available for her master when he needs sex and to never refuse him sex, even when not wearing the collar. Okay, the collar, that's kind of ominous. And whenever she sees her master in private for the first time, she is to kneel and ask if there is anything she can do for him. Oh, look at this guy. Look at this weird dork. This is a guy who probably never got laid until he made his first 100 million. And then all of this, because he probably made 100 million overnight. He was probably like a totally broke ass dork until that moment. And so now this is what he thinks normal relationships are because he's been elevated in his mind and by the people around him to this Silicon Valley god of Mount Olympus type. And now he's got, he's got all these because he has no real world sexual experience because he's a fucking dork. Look at him. And so this is what he thinks. All of a sudden now he can do that. No, you know what? This guy needs to go. Let's put him in prison. Let's see how his ass will fare in prison. Talk about slave contracts. I'm sure there's some boys there that'll be working up some paperwork for him to sign real soon. Boys in cell block C. Here you go. Slave contract, bitch. Under the purported at work section of the alleged contract, Doe was free to act independently, as long as she remembers that she is her master's property and that she is there to please him and for no other reason. Other alleged provisions of the contract detail mandatory sex acts. The purported document also allegedly requires Doe to dress in a, quote, proper feminine way, preferably skirts, dresses, and stockings. And she must keep her weight between 130 and 155 pounds. And noting her weight weekly in a spreadsheet is to be shared with Lang. So she's got to weigh in every week. Doe was allegedly required to wear her day collar when out in public with Lang. The master will work to shape the slave towards his goals of the perfect woman, the purported contract says. Allowed under the alleged contract is any punishment the master decides to inflict, whether earned or not, including spanking, caning, slapping, humiliation, and electric shock. Although the purported document noted that the master's responsibility is to avoid killing her. It's got to try to not kill her. Where do I sign? The slave agrees to always taking her punishments without being angry, sullen, or frustrated with her master, and thank him after. Thank you, master, for my punishment. Doe claims in the lawsuit that Lang beat her to the point of bleeding and sexually abused her with inanimate objects. Lang forced Doe to keep a diary tracking his subjugation and enslavement of her, and would beat Jane with a cane if she did not write submissive entries into her diary. Doe claimed in the lawsuit that she signed the slave contract because she loved her job, she loved her job. Your job is to be a slave. Doe claims in the lawsuit that she signed the slave contract because she loved her job. Okay, transactional. You made a deal there. You made a bad deal. You made a dumb deal, but you made the deal. Doe claimed in the lawsuit that she signed the slave contract because she loved her job, was accomplishing important work in her new role, and did not want to lose the opportunity to work a trade shift. Okay, you love your job. You feel like you're accomplishing things, and you don't want to lose the opportunity to work at this company that is making you a fuck slave. See how this doesn't compute? What is it? There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm sorry. I'm tired of going. How am I wrong for seeing it this way? This guy is a monster. Yes. Let's make sure that we deal with him. But let's not lionize her as some great hero. This is bullshit. She signed the deal because she loved her job. She's a dummy. She's a dummy, and oh, God, people. What are you going to do? All right, moving on. Let's find something lighter. Oh, here's something lighter. We can do this. You know, guys, this is why we can't have anything nice. Get out of here, Christian. I don't need to look at your stupid smug face anymore, you billionaire piece of shit. Oh, really? You sign me out? You're going to make me sign in? Hold on. Google just signed me out. All right, here we go. How you guys doing today? Doing good? I'm doing good. I'm feeling pretty nice. It seems to be nice outside. I got some allergies that are, keeping me a little bit down, but had extra coffee, so I'm feeling up. All right, here's why we can't have anything nice, you guys. This is these now go around every week, and it's not just here locally. Like, these are being people I know, like in other states, in other places. Why the hell can't Cowboy fans behave themselves? Why are Dallas Cowboy fans now the joke of the NFL? This is happening every week. Oh, and you think I'm kidding? I've got a whole bunch of them to share for you. Different fights with different people, all occurring at the gorgeous AT&T Stadium. This is why we can't have anything nice, because of a bunch of dumb people. Just because, this is how civilized people behave. Oh, is that a related fight or just another one? Who knows? That security just standing there watching? All right. public without. All right, so there you go. There's that one. Here, I'll share one more with you. We don't need to dwell on this. It's just such a bummer. Oh, here, this one. Yeah, I want to show this one. This one I enjoy. These two dudes are going at it. I have no idea what it's about, but let's enjoy. More examples of why we here in North Texas can't have anything nice. We have this gorgeous stadium, and we don't know how to behave. We are just complete morons. Here you go from this past weekend's football. Okay, can I just ask a question first of all? Are you guys seeing this? All right, so these guys are fighting on one of the, what do they call it? Mezzanine areas. I don't know what the hell they call it. But, you see these things. So there's somebody selling. They set these like little booths up where they sell shit. There's somebody selling like framed jerseys. And it's not somebody, it's the Cowboys. This is not everything being sold in here. The Cowboys are getting their chunk off, right? So who buys this stuff? Like, who's at a game and goes, you know what, I'm going to buy this right here, right now? I never understood this. All right, so let's watch it. Anyway, they destroy all of these nice little framed jerseys and all that. Here you go. Into the jersey table. Hey, can I also, it's not just these two. Oh, these two are just the dancing monkeys for the enjoyment of the great unwashed. It's the people. That is the greatest thing. You fucking morons. You know what? Break it up. Hold them down. Let the police put these idiots in cuffs. Go on with the game. Fucking morons all cheering these people on. That's it. Old head just got a flush crack. Look at him. Oh, that sent him. Yeah. This old black man's got about 20 years on this white punk. I'd say this is like a 60-year-old man against a 40-year-old. And the old black man seems to be whooping ass. He's never got more power. His punches seem to be... Jesus. I don't know. It seems pretty even. Oh, this is what a side character. Knock down. Down. Yeah, blind him. They'll play. Nice job, Cowboy fans. Well done. Bunch of animals. Bunch of freaks. All right, so I yelled at the people standing around. I'm going to be honest with you. I'd be in there standing around. But then I would see video of it, and I'd go, oh, God, look at me. Caught up in the moment. The endorphins. We don't think straight. Once our brain starts orgasming, little chemicals, the rest of our mind, we just start processing it a certain way. We don't think straight. It doesn't matter either. Doesn't matter if you're 12. Doesn't matter if you're 58. We don't think straight. Once we get intoxicated by the endorphins and all that stuff, yeah, kill them. We stop thinking. Cowboy fans, we can't have anything nice. What else do we have? Let's see. Butt surgery. Hey, let's look at some pictures of butts. This one's for Byron. There's a story. Men are apparently the number one surgery for men's plastic surgery. Well, and it's only because they can't make dicks bigger. If they could make dicks bigger, that would be the biggest surgery in the world. And I've got a friend who's a plastic surgeon, and I've been telling him, I'm like, dude, why can't you guys master this? It's 2023. You guys should be able to give every guy whatever he wants. And then, it'll be an arms race. It'll be a baby arms race. It'll be like, yeah, I just got the new 45-inch model. Okay, so they don't have that. And then women would be like, well, no, women would dictate. Ultimately, it would be women who would dictate. There would finally be an agreement on what the proper size is Women would agree. There would be some ratio, and then that would be the most popular size to get. Wouldn't it be hysterical if it turned out that that was like 3 inches? Anything more hurts. And then dudes are like, oh, but I just got the 22-inch model. Anyway, because that's not an option, for some weird reason, butt implants. Butt implants are apparently the biggest thing in men's plastic surgery. All right, so look. Let's show you different kinds of butt implants you can get. Yeah, you didn't think I'd have pictures. I do. I got pictures. I got butt pictures. Let's look at butt pictures. Again, I say this is for Byron. What's the perfect male butt? All right, that's what they're asking. They want to know what the perfect male butt. There you go. All right. I'm kidding. There you go. All right. Perfect male butt. Let's see what we're dealing with here. We'll get rid of this. Come on. Get all these stupid pop-ups on this stupid website. All right, Byron, what do you see? Byron, which one you like? Top row, Byron. Which one, makes it move? I don't know. These are, we're looking at butts. I don't know what to do here. My butt's fine. I don't want a butt implant. Is this a gay man thing or is this no, actually, what I did here is that this is something that plastic surgeons are now taking very seriously. Like, what is the preferred butt size? Because you got to mass produce butt implants if this is something they want. And if there's a most popular kind of butt, they're going to go and they're going to buy a whole bunch of those butt implants, not the ones that are less popular. Now, why are they concerning themselves with this now? Because a huge part of plastic surgery now is doing trans surgeries. And a trans man, like a woman transitioning to a man, now they did a study and they found out what the perfect butt is. And plastic surgeons now know what butt. I don't know. I'm confused. I'm telling you, that's what I read in this story. It's not like I researched this on my own. I'm not looking for. All right, moving on. We don't need this. Here's a controversy going on here. So there's a new movie being made, and it sounds good to me. Sounds like something I'd watch. Not a whole lot of things that I'm willing to watch anymore. Like it's so hard to catch my attention. I don't know why I lose interest in things. I tried to go back and watch Killers of the Flower Moon last night, and it was like 10 minutes. I watched 10 more minutes of it, and I'm like, nope, don't want to watch this. This is not good. I mean, it's fine. It's artful. It's beautiful. It's Scorsese. It's just not gripping me. The story is not gripping me. So I just jumped in and I watched all the Slow Horses. Slow Horses on Apple TV. If you're not watching Slow Horses, Kristen Scott Thomas, Gary Oldman, Slow Horses, the coolest theme song. I think it's a Rolling Stone song they use as a theme song. Anyway, I don't know. But this movie is coming out, Hannibal. And I want to see it. And people are upset that they have cast Denzel Washington to play Hannibal. And they're like, people are like, Hannibal's not black, dude. I don't know if you know. There have been other movies. Hannibal ain't black. Hannibal. I don't know if you. Oh, by the way, I'm talking about Hannibal, the Carthaginian general. I'm not talking about Hannibal Lecter. I'm talking about did I need to explain that? Probably. So yeah, I probably did. Because I bet some people were like, because I mentioned movies, right? I was like, well, I've been on this. Some people might have thought Hannibal. Anyway, no. I'm talking about the African general who went to war against Rome. He brought a bunch of African war elephants across the Alps, attacked Rome from the north. Nobody thought that was happening. Great story, history, fantastic, visual. Imagine seeing these elephants crossing, it'd be cool. So Denzel Washington is playing Hannibal, and the people in Tunisia are pissed. People in Tunisia are pissed because Tunisians consider Hannibal to be their guy. Hannibal's like, hey, this is the land of Hannibal, and you're making a movie about Hannibal, and you cast a black guy. And they're mad. They're mad. They're like, Hannibal wasn't black. It wasn't white either, like, I guess, so what? They couldn't get, who's the guy, they should, all right, so, you know who Hannibal's complexion probably looked like? Who's the dude? I can't think of his name. He's really funny though, except he's not a funny actor anymore. Now he's like a buff Marvel guy. He's Indian or Pakistani. He was in Silicon Valley. He made a really sweet movie about his wife and him and being sick or something. I don't know. Who is this guy? Come on, chat room, play along with me. I don't even want to try and, I don't know. It's a weird name. I can't pronounce it. I don't know how to do it. But anyway, that's the guy who should play Hannibal. He's all buff now anyway. And then Kathy Najimy. It's Kath. We're just gonna. I know it's not Kathy Najimy, but we're gonna say it's Kathy Najimy. That's who should play. That's who should play Hannibal. We're moving on. Anyway, they're mad in Tunisia. They're like, really? Nobody can help me out with who I'm trying to. What's that guy's name? Now I'm not moving on until I think of that guy's name. He was in Silicon Valley. He was really funny. Kumal Nanjian. There it is. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that one correctly because I'm just happy to have something to work with. That's right. That's him. Kumal Nanjiani. We're going to say it that way. Kumal Nanjiani. He should play Hannibal because that's what Hannibal looked like. Hannibal had colors like that. Or I'm trying to think of like, I don't know, whatever. But the people in Tunisia do not want Denzel Washington playing Hannibal. They should be honored. I mean, they got an A-list top box office Hollywood icon to play their guy. It's not like they cast Austin Butler, which, wouldn't be bad, but that was kind of weird when they cast a no-name to play Elvis, and now Austin Butler is like a guy. By the way, never mind. Not going to go there. Moving on. What else do we have? Tunisians are mad that Denzel Washington is playing Hannibal. All right, here's a list. We go through here. Here's a list that was trending today. I saw this story. This is the most beautiful and affordable. Okay, so these are two things. They made a list of the most beautiful and affordable places in America to live. Now, these things are both beautiful. Remember that. These things are both beautiful and affordable. And affordable, maybe. Beautiful. Some of these places, I'm like, what? All right, here we go. The most beautiful. This is a list of the most beautiful places in America. Most beautiful and affordable places in America. We'll start with number 10. Number 10, most beautiful and affordable place in America to live, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're going, this is what Pugs was talking about when he said these places aren't beautiful. No, you'd be wrong because Pittsburgh is in fact quite beautiful. Pittsburgh. Now, I was in Pittsburgh once in the fall, and when you enter Pittsburgh is a river city. So you enter from above in the valley, and then you come down into the valley where Pittsburgh is nestled there, where the rivers are, and the hills and the mountains surrounding Pittsburgh, just in those fall colors and then right there when you're coming into the city, the first thing you see are the sports stadiums and the downtown. Pittsburgh is a pretty city. Don't sleep on Pittsburgh. I know your programming is like, Pittsburgh's awful. No, you're fucking wrong. Pittsburgh is beautiful. Rivers, valleys, mountains, colors, trees. It's gorgeous. Number 10, Pittsburgh is also affordable, they say. Number 9, South Bend, Indiana. Okay, all right. Look, hey, I'm a Notre Dame fan, so, I would love to live in South Bend, Indiana. I don't know how affordable it is. I know people who live in South Bend, and, they make a lot of money, so I guess the affordability doesn't really come into them. But what is South Bend? South Bend is a nice little community in Indiana. Probably be considered rural by a lot of standards, except that it's a city that is essentially in existence because of a great big, well thought of elite university that has so basically what I'm saying is that the people who live in South Bend tend to be a bit more educated and a bit more, they're there for jobs, university jobs that get them to Notre Dame, not Southwest Alabama State. No, these are professors and doctors. My point is, It's a sophisticated place to live, and it's not a terrible place to live right there on Lake Michigan. Not bad. Number 9, South Bend, Indiana. Number 8, Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina. All right, Raleigh-Durham's beautiful. Bull Durham. All right, that's what I know about Raleigh-Durham. I'll give you that. That's number 8. Number 7, ladies and gentlemen, the number 7 most beautiful and affordable place to live in America, Dallas-Fort Worth. Beautiful. I mean, beautiful. And affordable? Affordable, not so much anymore. How did this get in here? This is like, these are a bunch of third-tier cities. Not Pittsburgh, I guess, but Pittsburgh isn't like a major city. You got South Bend, you got Raleigh, and then Dallas. Dallas is a major American city. Number 5. First of all, it's not affordable. It may have been affordable 20 years ago. It ain't affordable anymore. And beautiful, with all due respect, I love my adopted home of Dallas. Don't get me wrong. It ain't beautiful. It ain't beautiful. It's flat. There's a dried up river. What is beautiful. Where are the lush forests? Where's the greenery? Where's the river valleys? Where's the foothills? Now, you want to go down to Austin and talk to me about the beauty of Texas, because Texas is one of the most beautiful, the most jaw-droppingly beautiful states in America. But it ain't North Texas. North Texas ain't beautiful. North Texas is Oklahoma. It's flat. It's dry. It's just, But anyway, we come in at number 7 here, Dallas-Fort Worth. Number 7 on the most affordable and beautiful cities in America. Number 6, St. Louis, Missouri. What? Now the case for St. Louis, I could probably make a similar case that I made for Pittsburgh, except Pittsburgh did it better. St. Louis is another one of these river towns. There isn't this, you don't descend from many foothills or anything, so it's a bit more of a flat and easy decline into the Mississippi River Basin. But the Mississippi River Basin is much larger than what's going on in Pittsburgh, so it's a different environment completely. That St. Louis is a gross-ass, dirty freaking factory town. That's what St. Louis is. It's not good. The arch is filthy. Every time I drive by that arch, I go, it was really sad that they felt they had to make it white and then didn't have the budget to clean it every year, because that freaking white St. Louis arch is filthy. You get close to it, you're like, can't they like steam clean this thing every year? Don't have it in the budget. St. Louis is broke. Anyway, St. Louis, number 6, most affordable and most beautiful city. Number 5, Knoxville, Tennessee. That's true. Tennessee is gorgeous. I don't know if it's affordable, but I know that Tennessee, and I know Knoxville, Tennessee is gorgeous. Number 4, Louisville, Kentucky. Oh my God. Again, you know, if you like just endless rolling green and just white white horse fencing that goes on for 200 miles, it's beautiful. That part of the country, Louisville, Kentucky, Knoxville, Tennessee, that entire area, especially Louisville, Kentucky to Lexington, Kentucky. That is one of the most beautiful drives you can take in America. It is nothing but horse farms. It is horse farm, horse farm, horse farm. Straight on from Louisville, Kentucky to Lexington, Kentucky. God, I love that drive. Beautiful. The whole time it's just horses roaming free, and you know, the bluegrass, that beautiful rolling grass with these endless white fences that are just one horse ranch after another. Race horses. Again, we're not talking about, you know, like cowboy and Indian horses. We are talking about these majestic, gorgeous, and they're everywhere. That's Louisville. So I can totally see why Louisville makes this list. Louisville is another river city that's done beautifully. When you cross over the river there from Indiana into Kentucky, where Louisville is the first, that's a really pretty city. You're like, wow, okay. Now, granted, I did it at night, and that always stuck with me because the bridge was lit up and it looked really pretty. But anyway, Greenville, South Carolina. I don't know anything about Greenville, South Carolina, other than I don't want to live there. Number 2, Grand Rapids, Michigan is the number 2 most beautiful and affordable city in these here United States of America. I love Grand Rapids, Michigan. I don't know if it's number 2, but it would certainly be high on my list. I'll tell you what, you do know what Grand Rapids is. If you're like, well, I don't know what Grand Rapids is. I've never been to Michigan. Have you ever seen American Pie? That's where they lived. They lived in Grand Rapids. They called it Grand Falls, but it was shot in Grand Rapids. It was filmed in Grand Rapids. When they went to Stifler's beach house, remember they went to Stifler's mom's beach house for that party in American Pie? That was on Lake Michigan. That was Grand Haven. That was a beach house in Grand Haven, Michigan. Grand Rapids is amazing. It's a really nice place. A really nice, because it seems like a city. It's kind of like Fort Worthy. It's like, you're like, oh, this is kind of a city. But then it's also just beautiful because it's all lakes and forests and stuff. But it's just very American. It just feels very... You got the Gerald Ford Presidential Museum right there. What else you got in Grand Rapids? Amway. That's right. The international headquarters of Amway. I think maybe there's some car people too, like Chrysler or something is there. I don't know, whatever. Grand Rapids, Michigan is number 2. The number 1 most affordable and beautiful place in the United States of America is Hickory, North Carolina. There you go. You want to live in a beautiful place that's not too expensive? Hickory, North Carolina comes in number 1 on this list. Yeah, we're filming time. We're running out of show today. My stream of consciousness is basically on vapors at this point. So let's keep going. We got a big rock tour. What's this? Yeah, I wanted to mention this because I thought this could be fun. Who wants to? Anybody want to go see Def Leppard and Journey? Okay, so Def Leppard and Journey are touring, but that's not enough to get me. You know why? Well, first of all, it is enough to get me because Def Leppard is enough to get me. If you just said you want to go see Def Leppard tonight, and I'd be like, yeah, who's opening? And they were like, I don't know, some opening local group you never heard of. I'm like, yeah, I want to go see Def Leppard tonight. So Def Leppard is enough for me. I don't need Journey. I don't need. Look, if you're telling me it's Journey, then yeah. If it's Journey with like Neil Schon and Steve Perry, I mean, if it's real Journey, like a reunited Journey, I'll go see that. But then I have to imagine that version of Journey isn't going out on a split bill with Def Leppard. That version of Journey, a reunited, real lineup Journey, they could probably go out on tour on their own, and because I would see that. So Def Leppard and Journey are going out, but they are sprinkling other acts on this tour. Okay, so what are the other bands that are being added to the tour? Well, if you're going to see the Def Leppard Journey concert tour, depending on the city you're in, you may also see with Def Leppard and Journey a combination of Cheap Trick, Heart, and Steve Miller Band. What? All right. That makes up right. Well, first of all, if you give me all 3 of them, now we're talking about a concert festival, and I guess that's not really something you can do on a tour. You're not getting all 3 of them, but it depends on the city. All right, so let's see. Let's talk about where most of our people who tune into this show are from. So let's talk about Chicago. Is there a Chicago date? Now, you would assume the Chicago date's going to include Hometown Heroes, Cheap Trick, right? All right, so you think it's going to be Def Leppard. Hold on. So it'll be Def Leppard, Journey, and in Chicago, we should get Cheap Trick. All right, let's see. Or maybe Steve Miller. It might be Steve Miller. See, Steve Miller, you would think is going... Okay, so we're covering this tour as it comes through Chicago and it comes through Texas. So this tour coming through Chicago with Journey and Def Leppard as the headliners. Based on the 3 bands they can choose from, for the Chicago show, they should pick Cheap Trick because hometown, right? And they're playing at Wrigley Field. By the way, that'd be cool, man. Cheap Trick, Def Leppard at Wrigley Field. That would be cool. So in Chicago. Now, when they come through Dallas, it shouldn't be Cheap Trick. It should be Steve Miller because Steve Miller is a Dallas kid. The Steve Miller Band is from Dallas. So let's see. All right, it's starting out, where are they beginning? They're beginning in St. Louis with Cheap Trick. All right, Midwest, I get that. That makes sense. Then they're going to, all right, Chicago, July 15th, 2024, Chicago, Illinois, Wrigley Field with, nope, see, this is stupid, Steve Miller Band. Cheap Trick is not playing at Wrigley Field in Chicago. I wonder if that's because Cheap Trick wants to play Wrigley Field in Chicago alone and not as maybe that's it. Cheap Trick could play Wrigley Field in Chicago. If Cheap Trick wanted to put together like a big Cheap Trick show, anniversary show, whatever, they could do it. All right, so that's fine. I love Steve Miller, so I would be fine with that. So on July 15th at Wrigley Field It's Cheap Trick. No, at Wrigley Field. It's Def Leppard, Journey, and the Steve Miller Band. Okay, now let's move to Arlington. So they're at Globe Life Field. August 12th, 2024, Arlington, Texas, Globe Life Field. They get it right here. It's with Steve Miller Band. So there you go. Dallas gets their hometown guy. Chicago doesn't. Seattle does. Seattle gets Cheap Trick. Who gets Heart? Where is Heart? Oh, Fenway. Boston gets Heart. Toronto gets Heart. Cleveland gets Heart. Heart's only do. Oh, man. Okay. There you go. Whatever. Looks like Steve Miller Band is doing most of the shows, but sprinkled in elsewhere, you might get to see Cheap Trick or Heart. Not here in Dallas, or not there in Chicago, but you get the point. All right, what else do we have? All right, so I want we're done. Okay. There was one other story that I wanted to do, but it's not really a breaking news story. It's just something that I want to rant on, but I don't want to rant on it because that's not something we need to do here because it's just unnecessary. So we're going to end today's show. Hold up. Let me see if I can do this. Our guy Peter sent me a new hold on. A new thing, and I couldn't open it on the computer. It was my phone. I was using my phone earlier, and I couldn't get it to play. So let me see if maybe this will. And then we'll be able to have a closing song. Oh my God. No, see, Peter, it won't open. There is nowhere for me to... All right. Oh, boy. I'm such an idiot with this stuff. He says, I didn't send you anything since Friday. Oh, well, I was out with my kid all weekend, and I didn't get caught up on email until Monday. So maybe that was a Friday thing. I thought you had something new here, and I wanted to play it. And all right, never mind. All right, forget it. I will just move on. That'll do it. That's going to do it. Got no closing theme because we don't have any music rights to anything. And we can, there's what's free. What if I put in free use closing theme? Let's let YouTube decide what our closing theme should be. Is that even a thing? Free? I don't know. Okay, so I put free use closing theme. End credits. Copyright free. Well. What's this? What? Oh, I see. All right. It says this is ending credits music that I can't get, dinged for on YouTube. Copyright free use. I could see why nobody wants to use this. What is it? All right, bye everybody. This is our new. You know what? I'm not playing this game. That sucks. We'll figure something else. We'll get a closing theme that doesn't require us to join BMI or sign a bunch of copyright documents and all of that stuff. Last night's Radio Misfits show was ended, or not ended, but it was canceled at the very last minute. Do apologize for that. We will be doing a Radio Misfits show tonight, I believe. I'll be here. I'm sure James will as well. Although, as I told you, the next couple of weeks are going to be really up and down because of Christmas, and people have obligations and things that they got to do. So this noon show, we're going to keep doing. The noon show is a thing. So we're going to keep doing this. But the nighttime show might be interrupted, as you can imagine, for reasons I'm sure you can understand. All right. I appreciate you being here. Support the show if you can. I haven't really gotten any tips in a while, but that's, if you can help the show, that'd be great. What else do I need to say? That's it. We'll see ya. Love ya. back tomorrow at noon and tonight at 9 for the Radio Misfits show with me and James Parker. I'm Pugs Moran. See you tomorrow.